Hey, how's everybody doing? Good. I don't expect a lot of people at the 10 a.m. More people will be at the 8. So that's good for us because you guys can have more of my attention. Right. I don't mind. Fine. I never stop, I make the break. Oh yeah, if you could just mute while we're unless you need to talk because it is being recorded, so for the people that can't make it per se, but um let's see here. Where did my but you guys can't hear me, correct? Okay. All right, good. It's snowing here. I'm in North Carolina. It hasn't snowed here in I don't even remember the last time. So it's kind of odd that I got to put my windshield wipers up. I haven't had to do that since I was last up north working, which is fun. But so we'll just get right into it. There's been some these updates have been ongoing for a while, but um I was building the 2.0 version and decided to throw in some of the features that are coming out into the what we'll call the legacy version in the future. Um, Made some adjustments to it this morning, and I figured that the statistics, they really don't matter. It's just more clutter on your chart. So I removed those and put Trade Shield just on this one little spot right here that makes it simple. And to further help with that, we are now dimming the candles when we're in a no trade situation, and you're getting these X's up here instead of in the middle of your screen, and it will blink. Go ahead. What was that? Okay, all right. So they will actually blink in real time when the market's actually opening or running. It's not running right now, so it's not going to do it. But it will tell you bearish or bullish. Okay. Now let's go over what is causing this to happen. What are the conditions that are telling us, hey, we shouldn't be trading here, or we should. Okay. So this is what's fueling that is right here. And I will put it on a 30-minute candle just so we can see it. And then turn on the where's that table here, so you can see the statistics. So you can see that it is a true edge, and you should pay attention to it. And I proved that Friday morning when I got chopped out at the open. Thank God. I mean, I'm a human being. I got upset. I walked away from the charts for a while and came back, and then I knocked it out of the park on all these shorts here. But it just goes to show that if it's telling you don't get into a trade, you should listen to it, right? Especially if you're scalping, because you're just going to get chopped out. So this is what's creating those functions. We're using the same logic that powers the daily FLB algo, but we've put in conditions to basically tell you go or no go, right? And this is the stats that have been generated by it over using 500 days of data, and it's telling you that 69% of the time when price leaves the opening orb, the daily candle on an electronic trading hours. So this is for futures and crypto and that, and then we'll phase in stuff for the stock traders so that we can do the RTH. But so for electronic trading hours, mostly for your futures and again crypto and forex, the daily candle starts at 6 p.m. So this is where we're starting to pull our data from. When the daily candle zone leaves that first 15-minute orb is where you're getting your bullish signal from. 69.4% of the time, when it either breaks up or breaks down, it stays in a bullish or a bearish trend. Okay. And then 30% of the time we're getting a rotation. What is a rotation? A rotation is, let me find an example. Let's see. So we started bearish here, went bullish, and this is the rotation. So we're actually rotating price up through the daily candle. So this would be basically a wicked daily candle, like a doji. So we're looking at a candle that, you know, looks like this, right? So it's kind of indecisive, but we can use with the system, we can use that towards our advantage when we notice that's happening, is we can, because it's usually during US session, which is good for us because we trade US session, is we can start buying when everybody else is still trying to sell, right? So we're going to get an edge here when it does do that rotation. So that's actually a good thing. But you're going to lose your initial trade more than likely if you're trading without following, you know, the system here. If you're trying to short this when this is gray at the open, you're going to get liquidated. So waiting till it's green is literally going to tell you, hey, let's go. So this is what's powering this right here, this simple little logo or table up here that's telling you bearish, bullish, or X, right? Saying don't do anything. And that's what's powering the candles dimming, right? So that it's just another visualizing or another visual aid to assist you in not taking any trades in this moment. And this is what's doing it. So we will release a version of this in the future, but not right now. This is basically just for development and just, you know, creating what it's telling you in the actual system. So I just wanted to show you guys this so that you could see it and know that it's real. So this is, and I'll show you a replay of it so you can see it actually functioning in real time. And we'll replay that, I don't know, like 5x. So here's again, pause real quick. Here is the open, which is 6 o'clock, right? And then we're taking the first 15-minute high and low. You don't really need this box here. I'm just having it there for visualization for you. And then once we break over, it's gonna go bullish, and it's gonna print that we're bullish, right? If it stays that way and the daily FLB doesn't dump through the zone like it did right here, it's going to consider that a bullish day, right? And for example, this is bullish, price crashes down and then whips back up. The daily zone didn't move, right? So what does that mean? Just for people that are curious, is this is just a manipulation down, or just liquidating all the stops below all these lows for them to push price up. Had the zone here actually crash through, you would know that we're actually rotating, and we would start looking to sell instead of buy, right? And that statistical edge is insane. And I'm going to show you a prime example of it right now, and then we'll talk more on all the other changes. So yesterday, as I put out a notice to everybody, there's no other way to say it. I fucked up yesterday. I was trying to trade this crap. So right here at 9:30 is when 9:30 opened. Right there is the open of US session. I'm waiting, and I'm drawing out structure, and I'm doing things like that, and then I'm seeing. So this is where a lot of people actually lost yesterday. So I went checking posts and stuff. You're getting a lot of you're getting like imbalances here. So people are trying to buy this dip and push up, and then it drops, and you're getting chopped out at the open, right? And they're just building positions. And until now, me personally, this has always just been a risk that you take at the open. Are they going to build positions, or are they going to let price go? And nobody really knows until, we get major orb breaks and it dumps and goes. But that didn't even happen, or structure breaks, until 11:15. Had I been paying attention and listening to what this thing was actually telling me, right? Right in here, throughout the entire open, it's saying don't do anything. It's grayed out. It literally said no trade on the chart. I thought I knew better and I ignored it and I paid the price for it. So once price actually broke down and it started saying bearish, I started shorting all this and I recovered. I ended up bringing $5,000 for the day, right? But I still hit my personal loss limits on a bunch of funded accounts trying to play this stupid game. So that right there in itself is a good reason for when this says no trade, ignore the charts. Built-in alerts for the actual one that we're using, right? You can go on here and set alerts. That's not what I want. For Trade Shield, bullish, bearish, or no trade, right? So you can set all three alerts, and when a condition, sorry. Big old mean guard dogs. I shut the door to the office. So when you're getting conditions changing, it's sending you an alert. That's really pivotal or pivot. I can't even say the word. Sorry. That's a really important function for a lot of traders because what I would say probably like 60% of what we do is psychology, right? So if we're sitting here, we're looking at a chart, we're looking at it from open to here, and it's like 11:30. We're going 2 hours in, and we're going, Jesus, I just want to get into a trade, right? That happens to the best of us, and you take trades, and then you end up losing, and we chop it up as well. Conditions just sucked, and that's just a part of trading. Well, not anymore, right? Not with what we're doing here. We can literally look at it and go, yeah, this is no good. It's gray. I don't want to be a part of it. And then set an alert for when it changes and come back later when it does. And then you get into breaks and retest of your zones or whatever you're wanting to use right here. So I took this short here. I took this short here. And had I listened to this thing, I wouldn't have gotten into any trades right here and I wouldn't have lost anything. Right. And I just would have been up pretty big for the day because I would have trade copied my accounts like I did in here and went down. But then I only ended up trading one account when I was trading all this. So that's what the Trade Shield's going to do. That's how it works. Now, put together with the first light beacon zones, all the other zones, when you change this right here, like I say, I went to an hour zone instead of a 4 hour, right? And then we get a swap to the hour. That doesn't have any bearing on what Trade Shield's doing. Trade Shield is still going to tell you based off of daily, so off of this right here, daily, bearish, bullish, or stay out, right? And it's going to be based off of this. But you can still have the zones color to give you that correlation with what this is doing right here, right? So in the back of your mind, you know that this is your overall trend or bias. And when you get into trades, you'll see that this right here is breaking down. And finally, we're getting red candles underneath the red, right? When I've noticed, when I was looking back at this, going back and back and back, or for days and days and days, when we had the confluence of the red zone and we're bearish on our Trade Shield, those are the end caps that typically worked without using any type of other confluence. All right. So when you update your charts and you go look at this, go look at that, because that's a big deal, because you can take these trades right here with more confidence, right? And run the lows or whatever you want and put your limit orders on here if you're doing the ERE setups and it drops. Okay. Let's see. And for scalping, say like Daniel likes to scalp, he actually scalps 15 or 5-second candles on a 15-minute zone. Everybody thinks that's crazy, but it's really not, because you're really trading the 15-minute candle. You're just using the 5 second to see the definition of the zones. Now, let me show you how you would get into those trades and how this benefits. All right. So for example, here, we're getting chopped out. The zone is gray. You're bearish on your Trade Shield, but your zone is gray. So you wouldn't be taking any of these trades. Finally, you come down, your zone turns red, and then it breaks down. If you're using Heiken Ashi like he does, you get your doji here. And if you turn on think I already have it installed. First flat, you're going to get the signal on the first flat candle, which should be this one right here if it populates. I don't know why it didn't populate. I don't know what's going on with that. I'll figure it out. But that is your signal right here, is this first flat. So if you're using Heiken Ashi, this is what I do is I wait for the doji and then I get them first flat. This one right here would have worked too. And you just take your short and then your stop is the zone, right? And then you scalp. And that's all he's doing. And he's pulling in 200-300 ticks a day just doing this right here. And he's a new trader. It's just like he's never really executed on his own before. And here's another setup right here. We break up, we come down, it turns red while you're breaking down the zone. That's another scalp. It really is that simple. And here you get some more, and here you get some more, and here you get some more. So you can really pull us through. And then we flip to bullish, but our sentiment is still bearish. So we're not going to, I haven't updated the new zone on this one right here. So that's showing all this stuff. You're not running the bull because at that point you're counter trend trading. And for a new, like if you're a more experienced trader, yeah, I would counter trend this, right? But most of the users are not, and most of the people coming in are not. So this is really just giving you the max probability that whatever you're doing is going to work out, right? So you would just ignore all this and you would come in and look at, you're getting in more scalps down, and you're getting more scalps down throughout the day. This is 4 o'clock and you're still getting really good opportunities. That's a 50-point drop, right? This is another 57-point drop, right? So that is how you can utilize this new update with everything you're doing in any of the strategies that you're playing with. You can utilize this to get into those trades. And this is what it looks like when it's doing it, right? So you're coming into here. If you're watching, I usually, when I'm scalping, I'm usually just sitting here watching. So I'm seeing all this gray candles, and I just really don't like what's going on, right? And it's telling me not to trade anything. Well, right now, it's still grayed out. Come on. Yeah, 1x. So I would probably still take that, just being more experienced, but if you're not, you would want to wait until the grayed candles get removed, right? And the reason why they're there, let's look at the time. It's still that 11 o'clock where we're inside of the daily zone, right? We're not breaking below it yet, and it's still just chopping around. And that was like 11:30 when it finally broke. So here we go, just to speed it up a little bit. There we go. Now we're actually broke down below right here, right? This is where we're finally breaking down, and the colors are coming back. So that's signifying, okay, we're good to go. And this is 1 minute Heiken Ashi, but look at this break. We get a doji, flat bottom. There's your dump. And if you're using the 15-minute zones, you can pretty much target the next zone. So there's an 83-point drop. And you didn't do any pre-market analysis. You didn't look at any higher time frames. You didn't do anything. You literally just looked at the chart. This says bearish. This is red. That's a flip. I'm going to take the trade. Literally how simple we're making it, right? And that is the update to the First Light Beacon, trying to make it as clean and as clear as possible for everybody, and showing just the clear setups, right? Now, for the settings, for those that use multiple zones, you don't want the color on everything, right? So you can come in here and you can change it back to legacy, where you can adjust the color of the zone however you want, right? So you can change this like that. So if you have multiple zones on your chart, you're not going to want all of this on there. So we're going to do this. And like, if I wanted to put on, a 4 hour and a 15-minute, this is, how you would do it. And you would get your 4 hour and your 15-minute, which is a really good way to find high quality scalping setups, right? So you could put on your 4 hour, put on your 15 minutes, and then go into the new coloring scheme for those zones. And then if you're below the 4 hour and you see it wick into it and then it crashes down and this all turns red and everything's like saying go, then you're good, right? And that is a gonna message on Discord here. It says I'm really choppy. You guys hear me good? Okay. It must be you or your internet. Sorry. And that's gonna give you really good setups, right? And you can find these scalping setups here. Now, again, I want to just reiterate that yesterday I got screwed because I didn't pay attention to this. I did pay attention, but I ignored it, right? And it's stupid to ignore it, honestly, because if you look at the stats out of 500 days, 70% of the time it's right on trend. And then it rotates 30% of the other time. And you're going to, if you're intraday holding, you're going to result in a loss when it rotates. There's nothing you can do about that. Now we know that it is rotating and we can turn around and go the other way, right? So that is the biggest portion of the update that I have to speak about today. We did upgrade it to version 6 of PineScript. So, and which is making it run smoother. And we did change the way the stuff on the screen was. This is actually empty now. I need to remove that. But, and then the signals, if you use the signals, however, a lot of people ask how these work. I use them on higher time frames, but they're based on volume and ATR. So, and a few other things, but they're not just something that you go, okay, I'm just going to click it, right? If you notice, if you use them as a confluence, you'll see that when it signals, it always pulls back most of the time, right? Like here's a signal here, and then there's a pullback, right? Where's some more short ones? Well, that might be it for that. But so if you do use them as an extra confluence, just know that a pullback's coming. It always does, right? So don't just take them blindly. Wait for that pullback. And then, I don't know, look for a trend break back down like this right here. So we're drawing a trend, right? And then, let's wait for it to, there you go. And then we get a breakdown. And then there you go. Look at on the close of this candle, breaking the zone. And if you want to, you can actually come in and change your body to just borders so you can see everything. And you'll see that the close of it, this turned red. So that would be worth, setting risk. And there's actually where price is. And then we're putting our stop there or whatever. And then we're taking whatever we're taking, right? So there's that. Now, if just for those that don't know, just a little advice, if you're using Heiken Ashi, come into your settings, go over here and click real prices on price scale. So I'll show you what that does. If you turn it off, it's going to give you the average price on your line. If you turn it on, you actually see where real price is. Now, Heiken Ashi will help you with momentum shifts. But say this candle's dropping, but this line is up here. Don't take that candle, right? Wait for the line to be below 50% of the candle there on a Heiken Ashi chart, and you'll actually get a better entry, and you won't get tricked on like a flip or something. So that's how I use Heiken Ashi. And a lot of people don't know about this little setting here that you can do. Just turn on real prices on price scale when you have Heiken Ashi charts on. And because Heiken Ashi is extremely powerful for seeing momentum shifts. So that is the update to the system. If you haven't updated it, you can you'll get a little purple thing right here that says update available, and it'll actually update it right there, and you don't have to re-download or do anything with it. And then as far as settings go, we haven't really changed much. You still have your session and everything in there. Your buy lines, you can turn off, whatever you want to do. But we have adjusted this table here. And then I removed the X's in the middle of the chart. It was too much. And then it was a problem with people that had different resolutions on their monitors. It was literally blocking everything. So this should be a lot better. And it will, again, go X's if you're in a bad scenario, and it'll blink, right? the V6 DMNC is about the Pine Script version, not the version of the First Light Beacon. We're still on legacy. Version 2 is being worked on, and that is more of a it's going to be more geared towards signal generation, not zones. So you would still use both, but it's going to help out with buy and sell signals actually being placed on stuff like this right here. Like this is a confirmed end cap rejection in ERE trade, and you would get into it. And then like, well, this one couldn't be done. It never went in, but so that's the type of stuff that we're working on with that. But this right here is going to give FLB users an insane edge on knowing when to and not get into trades, right? So what it's not going to do is tell you which direction to go. Well, it kind of does, but it's not a signal generation. It's literally just showing you the structure, telling you, hey, this is bad, stay out. And then when conditions are better, get in, right? Now, I know that there's traders out there that can trade all of this right here, right? I've done it in the past. And I usually I'm pretty good at channel trading if I know there's a channel forming. So that's, but again, this is telling you that is bad. And maybe if you are a channel trader and it is great to just assume to trade the channel, right? But again, we're gearing this more towards newer traders and giving them statistical edge that usually takes 5 years for them to develop on their own. So that's the whole point behind this. And if you follow it, you're more likely to succeed. And so just honestly, just do it, right? And those 1 days that where you hit your daily loss limits will start to decrease, and you'll make more money. So that is what we've got going on with this. NinjaTrader version will come eventually. We always develop on TradingView first, and then we port over to NinjaTrader. So NinjaTrader version is still just the regular system, but I pair it with TradingView and NinjaTrader when I'm trading. I have TradingView on the left, NinjaTrader on the right, so I'm looking at both, and that's how it works. And again, if you know anything about statistical edge, this is insane right here, right? And I've started porting this trend bias or stay in, stay out bias, whatever you want to call it, into some of the algos, and those are starting to like just look way better than they already do now. And most of them are already okay, and now it's looking really good. So this is working, and the back testing is really good data. And if everybody follows this plan and uses this as a filter, you're going to see much better results and be much happier. Now, before I move on, do we have any questions from anybody about TradeShield? Yeah, go ahead, Filing. Oh yeah. Yep. Well, so I have 1,000 things going on in my brain at the same time when I'm looking at charts, right? So I'm not honestly, when I'm scalping, there's things that I do that I don't really preach to newer traders and even more experienced traders, because they have their own style, right? So I have like fun scalping. So I will do things when I'm scalping on my own that I won't do, on a live stream or something like that, because I don't want to promote that kind of behavior. But there's just times where I will take risks that I wouldn't tell anybody else to take risks. Does that make sense? So, but as far as like the pullback and retest, break and retest and stuff like that, those are always valid entries, and those are really easy for most people to spot, right? But I also trade with Bookmap and order flow, and I'm looking at orders on the books and I'm seeing where liquidity is resting, and you know, and I'll take risks that I'm not going to even mention to anybody else, and because it's just more risky. If you're looking to make consistent money trading, this right here, once a day, this breakdown, come retest the end cap and drop, is as simple as it gets, right? So that's why I'm teaching it. That's why I'm promoting it. Like, here's even one right here. We get a breakdown, retest, drop. And so yeah, so that I still use it. So if that makes sense, if that answers your question. Flatline. Okay, good. So the DZE trade, right, is the dynamic zone execution, and that is a really good example of that is like right here where it flips down and goes up. But if I wouldn't take that, because, you know, if I'm following the rules, right? So we would look for one to break up and then come down. So technically, this is a good scalp right here. Break up, come down. There's a good scalp right there. Now the ERE is the end cap rejection execution, which is this, right? So the breakdown comes up into the end cap right here. And if I'm taking a market order on something like this, I'm waiting for the beacon line to close outside. There we go. So I would short that, and my stop would go right there, and then I'm targeting, you know, whatever it is I'm targeting. Who knows? I don't know. And I'm trailing, right? I'm always trailing when I'm scalping. But there's a 2R right there, right? So it's just an ERE trades. They're just high probability setups that work, and I do pay attention to them. I always will. And that's what like I said, Daniel's doing on his little 5-second Heikin Ashi chart. He's doing these ERE trades, and then he's doing these dynamic rejections. So comes down, comes up, rejects. See, the beacon line rejects. I don't care about the candles. I care about the beacon line, right? I want to see this happen. It come down, come up into it, and then leave it, right? And that's when I'm interested in getting to the short, is right here. And then we can target, you know, fixed ticks, or we can target lows, whatever you're comfortable targeting, or you're trailing, however you want to do it. But the execution is when this leaves, right? And that's what the DREs are. And then the ERE is this right here. So break or breaks down, comes up, retests, and drops. So both of those are valid setups. And I encourage everybody to look for both, right? Because if you miss this, right, you can get in right here, because there's always a pullback. There's always something that happens. But the rule set for these DRE trades is the beacon line must go inside the zone and come back out, right? Not like, even though this one wins, see how this comes down and doesn't go inside and comes out and it wins. A lot of times this is a false breakdown, and it'll retest and come up and swing the high again. Statistically, I've gone back and looked. So I don't take these, right? I don't take these shorts, because most of the time it does come back up, sweep highs, and then come back down. So if you do see this, wait and see if it comes back up and then does this right here. And a lot of times it will, right? And you'll actually get into the actual momentum shift and not get liquidated trying to get in too early. So this was the manipulation, and then it'll come swing up, swing the high again, and then drop again, right? So just keep that in mind when you're trading like that with the DZE setups, is if it doesn't go inside the zone, just ignore it, right? But this right here would be your valid setup right here. So we get our cross down, come up, retest, and break. And those are good shorts. I love those shorts. I usually go risk on stuff like this. I go pretty heavy most of the time when I see that, because it just works. It just works. So any other questions? Yep. The same setups are, yes. If we go to Tesla, there's going to be the zone generations are going to be different. The timing is going to be different because of RTH, right? So here's Tesla right here. And we'll look on this one because we can see what's actually happening so that you can understand it. And let's go to Tesla real quick. Nope, that's not giving me any statistics. Right. Not yet, because there's going to be some different calculations. This was getting it done, and then it will be ported into it. Yes, the RTH version always comes second when I'm doing these things. It's just the way I've always done it. So I will update that, and you will see it within a couple of days. And it will work just the same as we're looking at the futures. It's just going to be, yep, so that it will come. You won't wait long for it. Any other? Okay. Sure. What are we looking at? You want to do, so I still have your chart settings. I'll send you that link directly so you can just click on it. I have it saved. I'll send that to you in Discord or email to you. You're welcome. Any other questions? I see a chat or somebody. Oh, okay. All right, so I'll just call that as no questions. Does everybody understand what's going on here, right? Does anybody not understand and need like further guidance or explanation of what we're doing right here and how this is going to help you? Because I want everybody to be successful, right? And this is going to help. What's going to take time for most people is just the patience, right? Patience is like the number one killer for accounts. Is we just refuse to be patient. And again, that goes into I've been sitting here for 2 hours. I need a trade, right? And that's probably happened to every single person that's watching this right now. I know it's happened to me. I know for a fact it's happened to Ladots because him and I have been, we should publish our chat history sometime, Ladots, where we go back and forth about like, what the hell are you doing? Like he had a really good options play the other day, right? And he made out really good, but he risked a little too much. And just a touch on that a minute, because I'm always talking about risk management. You don't add risk because you think it's gonna top is drawn, I think, or whatever, someone's drawn. You don't just throw risk on because you think the setup's good, right? You're always using your risk management and trying to compound, not throw more on because you think the setup is good. Because when it isn't, you're just going to erase everything you've done in the past. All your gains are gone. So psychology is a huge thing in this. And that's why I'm doing this right here, right? So last year, the FLB made people money and didn't make some people money. And the reason why is because they just didn't fully understand how to use it. And this year, we're going to do a lot better of a job of really helping people understand how to use it, what's using it, using these visual clues to give them an idea on when the best conditions exist for them getting into trades. Are there people out there that could pick this top and sell this all the way down here? Yes. The thing is they're operating at like a 30% win rate, right? And but really high RR. And in the prop firm space, that doesn't really work because the drawdown is so low that you risk blowing accounts, getting it wrong 70% of the time, even though that might be a profitable strategy, right? So And it is. I have plenty of stuff that runs that wins at only 30%, but it has a high RR. Right? And they're like my Bitcoin swing trades I take. It's a low win rate but high RR. You got to have drawdown capabilities to do that, and you got to have capital to do that, because if you go such a low position, it's going to take you 20 years to make any money. So this is being designed to limit stuff like that, right? So the strategies are being built around, are conditions favorable for us to get into a trade and not worry for low win rates and low profit factors. So that's what this is doing for you. Again, as I said, if I would have listened to it yesterday, I would have had an amazing day yesterday. But I turned into a subpar day. Like, it was okay, not amazing. It was bad at first, and then it made it, like, dug myself out of the hole. But this was really bad on my psyche, right? A trader could literally go tilt on something like this and just blow everything, all their accounts, all their prop firms, all their funded accounts, everything on this right here. And people did. If you go look on X, you're seeing people posting that they just destroyed all their PA accounts, all their top set funded accounts and everything on Friday with all this chop. Well, if they'd been using this and following it, they would have not got into a single trade until this happened. Right? So keep that in mind when you're looking at it on this right here. You're looking at it going no trade or X's. It actually says it's X's. It's there, that this is why it's doing that, right? So now I'm going to show you my favorite setup is false breakdowns. Okay. This is a false breakdown. This is what's gonna make you some money if you see this happening. This is where you buy and you hold till the high. Okay. This isn't a scalp. So we start out bullish. We break down, right? And then this doesn't come down, but at open, look at what happens. It swims right back up, comes up at 9. This is 9:30 right here. We break straight back up, come retest, and boom, straight to the moon, right? That's a false breakdown. Here's another one right here. This is those big dumps that you see throughout the day happening. It's they're just selling off and creating liquidity to buy again. Okay, when that happens. So that's, if you're trying to catch this short, cool, but just know that it's going to reverse and go back up just as hard when this happens. And if you look at our zone here at 9:30, we break up and go bullish again, right? And then you get that huge, massive drop right here at 11:30 here, comes back in, and then swings straight back up over, and you're going green again, right? Now, these are 5-minute candles. This would be a hard entry to get into, but I'm usually trading a 1 minute, so you would see this right here. Let's see what it looks like in the 1 minute. Let's go right here. There you go. Now you have plenty. Now, if you're not doing anything, actually, I think I traded this bull flag. You can trade the break of this, or you can turn on your other zones, and get into retests on like 5-minute end caps or whatever you like to trade. You're going to find something that gets you into this, right? Honestly, if I saw this big, huge candle right here break up like that, and this flipped green, and I'm seeing this do that, I'm probably more than likely going to go click, right? And then I'm going to go click, and I'm going to try and run to some, here you go. Look at it. It was a gap fill, right? So we can get into like this low or something. I'm sure there's an end cap that we could target. But look at that trade. And look how simple it was. There's no thought in it. It's, oh, we're green at open. I got into some here, and then later I see this and we get a push back up. This is called a false breakdown. This is how institutional orders, this is how they get into the trades. This is how your big banks get in. It's just how they do it, because they're flushing everything and they're creating panic selling, right? So you get all these guys that got in down here. They're like, oh crap, I'm going to lose everything. So they're going break even. They're selling off. They're doing this. There's people selling. There's all kinds of stuff going on that creates a shit ton of sell orders for them to buy this right back up. And typically when it dumps like that, it's just as violent going back up. There's just so many examples of that. You can go look this right here, like that sell off that happened right here, straight down, just as violent, straight back up. right? And then they just kept selling off. It didn't push for whatever reason, but those are really good setups. Here's another one, massive sell off, just as violent, going back up. Right here, we already looked at that one. You'll see them all over the place. This one you wouldn't take because it ended up being grace, but that's how simple it can be for people that use it, and not overcomplicate everything, right? So just keep it simple, and we're no trading. Oh, look, it broke out finally, and we're trading, and just use the alerts, right? Set your alerts for the trade shield. That's what I mean. It's the thing's going to keep you out of bad trades, and it's going to give you a heads up on when good ones are coming. So trade shield alerts are all in here, and set them so that you know when conditions change that are more favorable, instead of staring at your chart for hours and hours and hours and getting into bad trades because you're being tricked because of price action. There's guys that make $20 million a year, and their job is literally to get you to push the button when you shouldn't. So keep that in mind. You're trading against pros and billion-dollar algorithms, right? Nothing's fair for us. And when it says no trade, there's a reason. If there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Or if you have any comments about what's going on, or anything that you want to see in here, the volume dots help a lot too. A lot of people are complaining about they're too bright on the chart. This is what I do. Everybody's like, how do you get your dots to look the way they do? So I just actually move the opacity down on each one, and then it's not as harsh to look at, right? So we'll see just like this, right? And those really help, and they actually develop in real time. So they will get bigger and smaller inside. Like, well, let me turn on a hollow candle. They will get bigger and keep building as the candle builds, and it's showing that there's large orders being placed in here, right? And that's what it's for. That's why it doesn't show every candle. It's showing you where there's a bunch of large orders. Like if you see this candle right here dip into the zone, wick it, and then you're getting dots popping up. That's a pretty good idea that we're pushing. So not just for entries, but if you're already in the trade and you're worried that this is a pullback that's going to swipe back down, and you start seeing that, maybe hold it a little longer and see if it actually runs, right? So that's going to help you with stuff like that. For plotting sake, it's not going to show you the huge history of these dots, but it will. So when that happens, just you got to have a new candle create or close for it to go back to what it's supposed to be. I don't know why, but trading view issues. So the volume dots, if you just lower your opacity, it makes it a lot easier to see everything else on your screen and not look like you're just being flooded with information, right? And then again, you can change legacy on the colors. So if you're using multiple zones, you don't want all of them to be like this. You just want them to be normal. So yeah, is there any, show the false breakdown again? Yeah, like, hold on a second. So we're getting, so I use the daily zone to spot these, right? So we're right here. This is the opening. This is 6 p.m. on Wednesday. So we're overnight. Here's 9:30 right here, right? We're looking for buy setups, obviously, because we're coming in at 9:30, and this is what we're seeing right here, right? So we're looking for buys, and this happens right at the open, right? And you're like, crap, I guess we're going bearish. And that's why everybody's selling this high right here and trying to shove it down. But the institutions are going, thank you. And they're buying all that up, right? So we come all the way back down. But this zone, the daily zone, does not break through the opening range. So this daily candle is just doing this, right? It's starting here, right here, and comes up, and then comes back down, makes a higher wick, right? And then goes back up to here. So this is what it looks like when US open starts or whatever. And then it just eats itself away until it comes back down to the open, but it never breaks the low of that candle. The easiest way to spot that is to, well, with our system anyways, is to pay attention to what the daily zone's doing. If the daily zone is not doing what price is doing, then it's not the move, right? It's not it. Wait, to be patient and wait for the confirmed push back up, which is basically coming back over this zone. The more experienced you get, you'll spot these faster, and then you can start getting into, you know, price action or whatever to actually find better entries. Or you can use smaller zones like the 5 minute or 15 minutes to get retests of end caps and get into an ERE trade, but you would hold to the high, right? So, but if you wait, if you're if you're an inexperienced trader, I would wait till the confirmed entry of it breaking over this zone here, right? So we're still getting shut down. It's not going yet. And then there it is. So you could get into something like this. Our stop would go right there, because if it breaks that, it's going back down again. And then we're going to target the high, right? And don't get fixated on, we have to have 2 R's on all of our trades. I can't tell you how many trades people lose because they're trying to force a 2R when they're only going to get a 1.7 or 1.8, right? Just go to where liquidity is resting and let it make you some money. So there's the trade right there, and then your risk is sitting here. So anybody that's new and that's watching on social media or whatever, doesn't even know what this is, it just gives you predefined risk, right? So we know entry here, stop loss here, this goes here. This should only be risking 1 or 2% of your balance or whatever, however you do it. I don't even know if this goes all the way up there. I wasn't paying attention. Maybe it looks like it doesn't. So that would end up losing. And then they swept it, and then let's see. Nope, doesn't even go all the way. So life. But I do trail, so I wouldn't get stopped out on that, but I just wouldn't get as much as I was hoping for. That's how I do the false breakdown. And that's how you're going to find them throughout the day. So like even this right here, was a false breakdown, but it happened at the end of the day. This is 4 o'clock. And then it rips right back up before 5. See that? And it took this high right here, or made an equal high with it, whatever it did. It's pretty close. But that's like right at the end of the day. So you could take that because this is at 420 and it does run up if you're just going to scalp this little move here. And I mean, if you're trading that late, that's a valid setup regardless of the time. So do we have any other questions? I'm trying to read all the chats everywhere. Do I trade it all during lunch? Yes. It depends on what we're looking at, because a lot of times you'll get some sell-offs at lunch where you got some institutions taking profits, and you'll see it break down. And then 12 o'clock, a lot of zones merge with each other, and it seems to create possibilities sometime. But I don't have like hey, I'm trading at 12. We do our 10 and 2, try to do 6 and 10 p.m. We trade basically the opens of the 4-hour candles. Those are 10 and 2 setups. And then whatever we see throughout the day, if it even sets up anything. Any other question? No? All right. So, again, this was recorded. You can go back and look. It'll be in the WAP. There'll be a stream there that you can go back and look at this. And then we're doing another one at 8 o'clock tonight. So, I think if someone was just trying to speak. Sure. No, it is. It is. That's what's powering this right here. So all this mess right here, instead of putting it on your chart and just more on your chart, this right here is built into the FLB, but the output of it, this is it right here. And then the candle coloring, it dims the candles when when you're in a no trade type scenario, right? So you'll see the candles dimming right here just to keep you out of those trades, right? Just another visualization that it's not there. But you'll see this up here, red and X's, and it'll blink. It's set to blink every 10 ticks. The TradingView doesn't just let you just blink things. It doesn't have the ability. So I did just a refresh every 10 seconds. Well, it's not the candles, it's the zone. So I'll show you right here. So here's the setting, or let me go to 30 minutes. So here's the sample for 500 days right here. And what this is sampling is when this daily candle zone breaks out of the first 15 minutes of the open, 69.4% of the time, the zone stays out of it, right? Regardless of what candles do. So this right here would be basically a no trade day until you came into 430, and you could catch this scalp up, right? Because all it did was dump down and then chopped out the whole day of US session. See this? We got a little breakdown, right? And then it just chopped out the rest of the day until here finally at 4 or whatever, it swept some liquidity, probably news related, and shoved back up. So you would get an alert that this is happening at 4 o'clock and be like, okay, I'm taking my trade now, and get into longs and scalp along, right? So, but the majority of the time, this is kind of what it kind of looks like when it does that. Is this is telling you, hey, only take longs. Now, the daily candle is going to be is not what it's tracking, because that can be manipulated. So, like example right here, this daily candle crashed out. So everybody's trying to short. Look at what happens right at the end. Boom, right? So you wouldn't have been trying to short all this, because you would be looking at this going, nah, this is manipulation, because this is still grayed out and it's not coming down with the daily candle. Now do you see what's going on? Right? So this zone, this daily zone right here, this is what's protecting you from getting into those bad trades, because this can't be manipulated. They can't manipulate this, right? But they can manipulate price all they want. And this is a prime example of it right here. Price breaks out bullish at the start, sweeps down, the zone starts to fall. See that? But it never actually completes, even though price is slamming straight down through here. And then look at what happens. Rips right back up. Then they try it again, slam down. Look what happens. It rips right back up. The zone didn't come down. Now, if this zone did break through and come down, like this one was this manipulation was so hard, it actually did get you. Well, it was before 9:30, so you wouldn't even be affected by that. But this, I'm trying to find an example where it rotates. Right here. So this is a rotation. This comes down, stays down, and then breaks out up through US sessions. So this was a rotating day where price started bearish and then flipped, right? So this is kind of like what a doji daily candle looks like. This is a perfect example right here. Is you get breakdown, break up, and this is what I call shark fins, because it literally looks like a shark fin. But this candle is a daily doji. That's what that is. And we as traders using the system would look at this and go, this is trash. I don't want it, right? We don't have a setup at the open. We're looking for shorts at that point, and then it turns gray. We're like, whatever. And we set our alert for bullish or bearish to see if it goes and flips. When it does, it flips at 11 a.m. Then we come in and go, oh, we're bullish. And then we just start looking for long entries. That's this stupid simplicity of what we're doing, right? Is literally going, oh, yeah, I don't like it. This isn't good. And then we come back when the alert triggers, and then we get into our smaller time frame, and we're looking for longs. And literally telling you, do not short, right? And And then these days right here is just the reverse. This is a false breakout that dumps. So it breaks out at 9:30, 8:39 right here, and then dumps throughout US session. So if you were trading 30-minute candles, this would be a break and retest right here. But that's the example. This is an example of stay the hell out, right? This whole day was nothing but chop, chop, choppity chop. It didn't do anything. Just stayed right in this range. Now, if you're an experienced scalper seeing this, what can you do with it? Well, now you know we're in a chop scenario. Go into a smaller time frame, find your highs and lows, and start trading the fades on the highs and lows. Right? If you're an experienced trader, if you're new, I wouldn't suggest doing that. It's really hard on your psyche. It's really hard to find those entries that break back in. So I would just, if this is happening and you're not an experienced scalper, I would just leave this alone and just no trade day. And those are okay. Knowing when not to trade is a skill in itself. Here's another one right here. And look at what happened that day. Chop, choppity chopped, chop, chop, chopped here. Right. And this was crap, but it broke up back over. But again, at 3 p.m., you finally got your confirmation. And then here we go. We're breaking up, or here's another rotation day breaking down. Here's a day that was extremely chopped, and you wouldn't have taken any, try to take any continuation trades or trend trades with this. Because if you're looking at it, you're going, okay, well, I'm gray and we're just going straight up and down. And again, if you're an experienced trader, you could find your highs and lows or use volume profiles or whatever, order flow or whatever, and fade the highs and lows and try to scalp those. But for the inexperienced trader, this is telling you, hey, this is bad. Don't trade here, right? And same thing here. We just break up, break down, and then we end up chopping. So it never actually completed the rotation. And then this is a prime example of another US session. So we break down, and then I probably would have lost this day. This is just bad. And then, but eventually it does tell you, hey, stop, right? And then we get another rotation day, and this is kind of rotation, but this was a false break that pushed, and this was just chop. So it's really keeping you out of days where you just don't need to be touching it. Look at this day right here. But we're around a lot of holidays right here. This is back in November and going into December. So it's just going to be bad. Going forward, I can't wait for February, because usually we'll get into some really good trades in February. But I hope that answers your question. Do you have any others? All right, so in the chat, let me know. There's a little chat for the Zoom. If you think that this is going to help you figure out when to get into trades and which direction to get into trades, type a 1 if you think it's going to do that for you in the chat of the Zoom chat, so I can get an idea of your thoughts. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Oh. Oh, okay. All right, good. I just don't want the efforts to go into just empty hands, right? Like, I mean, I'm going to build this anyways, because for myself, but yeah, you're going to get a version. Don't you worry. You're not the only one that wants it. I will push that out. I just had to get it working, right? What's up, Deadeye? Oh, there it is. Oh, good. Okay. For some reason, I didn't have that selected. All right, you guys rock. So it's hard. I'm going to tell you right now, it's hard to not trade when you're trading. Okay. I understand that. Believe me, I've been through it. And I still go through it sometimes. Look at what happened to me on Friday, and I was live streaming it. So there's no denying, right? It's hard to not trade when you're trading. It's really difficult to go, you know what, this just doesn't look good. I'm just going to leave it alone. Right. But as traders, we have to consider ourselves traders, not gamblers. Skilled. It's a skilled trade, right? Yeah, it's a skilled trade, just like any other trade out there. Whatever you do for a living, you're doing it with some skill. You need to focus on trading the same way. You need to look at it and go, okay, I'm not trying to gamble buying a house in one trade. I'm trying to make consistent money trading, right? That's the goal. So if you have a system in front of you that is telling you statistically that if you enter a trade right now, you're more than likely going to lose, you need to follow it. You need to pay attention to it, right? And that is going to give you edge. That's going to stop losses that you've gained over the weeks. Because you can lose everything you've done all month in one day if you don't adhere to conditions of the market. It does not care what you want, and it's not going to change just because you want it to, right? So use the tools and adhere to the rule set, right? And you're going to have more success. I mean, the statistics don't lie, right? If we don't get tricked into selling when we're in bullish days, right? Like this right here, when it drops down, people are getting tricked into selling that, and we know we're bullish. Be patient and wait for the bull setup to show itself, right? That's all you have to do. That's all you're going to have to do. Just be patient and wait for the conditions for the return to come, because it will come. Like this right here, dumps down and it comes back up. This is 30-minute candles, but you're going to find all kinds of scalping opportunities and trade opportunities in this bull run pushing back up right here, right? And if it's gray, just do yourself a favor and just don't trade. Walk away from the chart, turn on the alert, walk away from the chart. Don't even look at it until you get alerts saying that things have changed. All right. We've been here an hour. I'm sure everybody wants to get out of here. If you haven't updated it, click the update button right here. Actually, I didn't update this one so you guys could see it. It will have a little purple right here to click update. And then that will update it on, you got to do it for every chart you have, but it'll update all of the ones you have on this single chart. All right. If there's anybody here that doesn't have the indicator, we do offer free trials. Go ahead and grab it and try it at firstlightbeacon.com. You can get to it and come in our Discord and ask questions if you want. But I'm going to go ahead and close it with that. If anybody needs anything later, let me know. We will be doing this again at 8 for the rest of the people that couldn't come this morning. Stay safe.